right, what's going on, Black Speakers Network family / internet, wherever this shows up at? Good morning, good morning. My name is Brian Oles. Welcome back to another session here with Speakers Magazine, and we are excited to kick off yet another live interview. I'm Brian Oles from Black Speakers Network. I'm joined with the one and only Dr. Pam Perry, Detroit, Michigan's
Hey,
finest in the building, and Sierra Black from Atlanta, Georgia, on the Speakers
happy
Magazine.
Saturday.
Happy Saturday. And then, of course, we got the one and only, the amazing cover of sound effects. Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon is in the building. Welcome, welcome.
Hello. Excited to be here. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. We are going to have a lot of fun today. So I won't waste any time because we got to move to millions, obviously, and there's a lot to talk about. And so I just wanted to welcome you. Darnyelle, you and I go back like car seats. I tell people all the time that you were actually one of the first kind of like development type of events that I attended ever. I remember you were on tour and came to BWI, and I sat in a room. I'm like, first of all, like everything was branded. The chair that you sat in, the flyers, the signs, and everything. And then I got in, and Pam, I was like, okay. Some people talk about speaking, like, no, this person is a speaker, but not only was she a speaker, she knew how to position a program. So like I learned more just watching you present that information, enroll people into, what you were doing at the time, like, and just seeing, the amazing power behind Incredible One at the time. And I was just like blown away with how you were able to do that. And so now, fast forward years later, obviously you're part of Black Speakers Network community, but you've just done such an incredible job of helping so many people, scale from 6 figures to 7 figures and well beyond. So I'm looking forward to this conversation and excited that you're here.
I am excited too. Do you remember what year that was, Brian? I'm thinking it was like 2013, 2014.
I think it was earlier than that. Like I want to say it was circa 2010, if not 11, actually, because I was still early. Like I didn't know nothing. I know nothing. I was like, but yeah, I can actually go back because it's on my calendar. Like I know I'm using the same Google
Well,
calendar.
I remember meeting Darnyelle, Dr. Darnyelle, probably pre-Incredible One, the way it is now.
Yeah,
and I remember she liked a lot of pink. And I remember I was so impressed that you had a pink Cadillac. And it inspired me to actually be like, well, what is this all about? And that's when I really started following you and Gloria Mayfield Banks.
Okay, yeah. Mary Kay days. That's going back to
early 2000s.
Yeah, yep. I was in Mary Kay from 2001 to 2008 was when I sent my car back.
Yes. And during that time, I was also like dabbling at doing Mary Kay just because I just thought it was just so cool the way you positioned the brand with that. And it was like, it's her business, but it's also like Mary Kay. I was just really intrigued by it. I was like, oh my God.
You wanted a pink Cadillac, Pam?
I did. I like pink. But one of the main things, it is anything that you do, if you put your heart to it, what really showed me, whatever Darnyelle does, puts her heart into it. She encourages people. She motivates people. She inspires people. She, that's just when she puts her foot in it, it's like she leaves a footprint, So that's one of the things that I just remember about her. And then the Incredible One, the way that even sounds like she just knows everyone is incredible. And that's the name of her company, right? Because that's how she feels that why she was sent here. She feels that her light is the light that she's got to shine on others. So I saw your transition over the years, and it's just amazing to me. I just really, really just say I appreciate you and the cover.
Yes. Well, look, since everyone's given their story of when they first met, I just had the pleasure of meeting her maybe a month ago. But I remember this, and Pam can tell you, when I got off the phone with having the opportunity to interview her, I called Pam. I said, Pam, she is the real deal. Are you going to her event? You have got to go to her event. Pam's like, yes, I'll be there. So that was the impression she left upon me just a month or so or two ago. But anytime anyone interacts with her, I'm sure she leaves a memorable impression.
Yeah, that's really my goal. From the moment I open my mouth, I want to transform every ounce of who you are. And so I appreciate you guys saying all of those really kind words. I really do.
Yeah. Well, I would love to know. So since we're talking about Move to Millions, can you talk a little bit about your first like million? Because I feel like I might have caught you in that intersection before then, you know, and so did Pam. And a lot of people are, I feel like initially, at least when I kind of was coming into like the speaking realm, Darnyelle, everybody was trying to talk about like 6 figures was like the benchmark initially. And then I know you kind of that's the place where you start working with people with 6 figures and then getting them. But can you kind of take us back to like your journey to like the first million?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I did not wake up like this, right? When I first started working, I worked with entrepreneurs right where they were to get them to 6 figures. But I quickly realized, like, I think most entrepreneurs who get to low 6, that 100, 150, 180, they quickly realize it's not enough, that they thought it was going to be, the heavens were going to open and the seas were going to part and the bushes were going to burn. And that's not what happens, right? They realize that it's not enough money. And once I started to realize that, I shifted. But, my own journey, I started this company, Incredible One Enterprises, in 2007. We struggled massively for the first couple of years, so much so that I ended up going back to work in late 2008. And I worked a job from 2008 until 2010. I worked that job with a purpose. I was very clear. I came in the door with my exit date. And I knew that while I was working that job, I was going to use it to be the income that would allow me to be able to live. So I wouldn't have to live in my car. I didn't avoid filing bankruptcy. I still had to file bankruptcy from some bad financial decisions. But the job was really so that I would have the space and the capacity to learn what I didn't know, so that when I left that job on December the 17th, 2010, I would never be employed again. And so, January 1, 2011 was my first day full-time again in my business. It took me 3 years. May 6th, 2014 is when I became a $1 million CEO as a result of my live event, which is the catalyst of why we're even having this conversation now, because we're coming up to my brand new live event, Move to Millions. And so that first year as a full-time entrepreneur, we did just shy of $200,000. And it was great, except it wasn't enough. The next year we did just shy of $500,000. The third year we did about 650 or so thousand. And what I changed, for those of you who are in that critical juncture between 100K and 500K, the biggest thing that I changed was the consistency and the reduction of offers. Write this down if you're taking notes.
Wow.
I know everyone wants to tell you you need 7 streams of income to get to 7 figures. That is a lie. You need one that you perfect and work and tighten and systematize. One. And so that was the biggest thing that changed. I went from having 5 or 6 different options. I like to call myself Lene at that time. Lene who had plenty, if you remember watching Good Times. Whatever you needed, I can help you with it. But in that, from 100K to 500K, I decided that I was only in the business coaching business. And specifically inside of my business, all I had was my mastermind. And so I enrolled people into one offer. And the price point ranged over the years from 10K to 18K. But that's all I had to sell. And by drilling in and focusing on one thing, I got to streamline my business and put myself in position to be able to bring on more clients. So that was the biggest thing.
Wow.
From 500K to $100,000, to $1 million, it was really about continued streamlining and emphasis. It was mostly about doubling my rates. That was the biggest thing I did. I did have 2 offers between 500K to 1 million, but each program was doubled. So my baseline offer was like a 12K and my top line offer was a 25K at that particular point in time. And that was really all that I did. And so what I would tell you is you get really, really clear about who you are, the problem you solve and who you solve that problem with for, and then what is the best way to package the solution to their problem. And then you ride it until the wheels fall off. You become a broken record for it. That's all you have to talk about is the problem you solve and the solution that you offer.
Mm-hmm.
And you only have one way to deliver it. When you do that, you will put yourself in position from that standpoint. There are other things that need to happen to move to millions, but from the tactical strategic standpoint, that's the biggest thing that I would tell you. One thing, we call them the incredible ones. You focus on one ideal client, one traffic source, one lead generator, one nurture sequence to one offer for one onboarding process to get them to one specific result. If you start to focus that way, you will be surprised what you can do. Because when you have 7 income streams, the saying goes, you can't chase 2 rabbits and expect to catch either one. Well, you certainly can't chase 7 rabbits and expect to catch any of them. So stop trying to get multiple income streams, focus on solidifying one. Then once that one stream is up, it's running, it's calibrated, and it is consistent, and you can get predictable revenue, predictable and projectable revenue. Now you can introduce another market, another stream if you so desire, but you may decide that you don't even need to.
I love it. That is what I say, for real. That is.
I think we're done.
I
don't have any other questions.
it.
I know they just need to show up at her event in May.
At the
end of May, just really be there, because this is just off the cuff, right? This is just Dr. Darnyelle on a Saturday afternoon, right? So just imagine.
That seems to be the one thing that is difficult for people to grasp. That one thing, that incredible one, because it's like fighting tooth and nail to try to get them to streamline and focus on that one aspect. But I'm keeping tally, Brian. First, we have the first myth buster, right? That you do not need 7 streams. You just need one. Because like she said, we've all heard that 7 streams of income to make it to millions. But she said, no, we just need that one. So that's one, Dr. Darnyelle.
Yeah, and I even like to think, like, let's use Rihanna, who's our latest billionaire, right?
Right.
She wasn't trying to do all the things at one time, right? First, she was a singer and entertainer. Then she branched into acting. Then she branched into cosmetics. She wasn't trying to do them all at the same time. Like, we think that that's the way, but that creates distraction and division. And you cannot get to your destiny if you're splintered. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think you probably just let a lot of people free, because that's the conventional wisdom, and it's also kind of rooted in fear, I think, because we're like, we just got to keep doing a whole bunch of stuff until something like works, and that is crazy. But I do think that in general, entrepreneurs tend to have like shiny object syndrome, and it takes a lot of discipline / community's accountability, like I know you have, to say no, like I don't care what crypto is doing, I don't care what who's investing in real estate, I don't care, like I'm going to like tune out the world for a little bit, focus specifically on this one person, focus specifically on this one problem and this one solution, and drive it home. Like it takes I think a lot of discipline to kind of keep those blinders on for a little bit.
It does take discipline, but it also takes just knowing your purpose and knowing why you're here, and just really feeling really secure in that, and being in alignment with everything that you do, so that you know what that is for. You know that you create content around that, you do podcasts around that, you speak on that, you serve on that. You can then expand, but the one thing, there's a book called One Thing, but once you expand on that, you really have come into your sweet spot. And so many people don't come into their sweet spot because they don't know themselves. They don't know what their purpose is.
I totally agree with that. I'm going to add another one to it. It'll take patience, because just as we use Rihanna. She started off singing. That's for a period of time. Then she went into acting for a period of time. Then she went into her cosmetics a period of time. So it takes patience, not only that discipline. First of all, you got to understand who you are, but now you need that discipline, accountability, but you also need patience to allow that seed to actually be watered and to grow.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. The streamlining makes it possible to buy the real estate and invest in the crypto. So if you're trying to do all of that now with the money that you need to expand your business to market, right? Your marketing and advertising budget, you're splitting that trying to buy a property while you're also trying to, do whatever else it is as your primary thing. Like, it's just not going to ever you're not going to give yourself the lifeline that you need to even validate that the idea can work for you. And we need money, right? Like, for me, the reason why millions is the new six figures is so that we have money enough to be able to contribute where we want to contribute, and not only leave a financial legacy, but to live better now. Like, I'm like Lorenz Tate on Love Jones. You don't have to save mine for later. I want it right now. The only way I can have it right now is if I'm willing, as both Sierra and Bryant said, to be patient and to be disciplined. But it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term reward. And it'll happen much faster if you would just streamline. And so it's one of the biggest things that I see when I have people coming to me. They got to six figures on a wing and a prayer and with a whole bunch of different stuff. They were truly hustling and grinding. And when I tell them that all they really need to do is focus on this one thing, let's price it and position it correctly, and that we can see their revenues grow, like, their minds are blown and they get to relax their shoulders a little bit because they've been hustling, and you don't have to hustle your way to get to seven figures.
That, the next thing I was going to say after you were saying that is, it seems like they also still themselves of joy. Because if you're going after so many things, then you really do not get a chance to enjoy and bask in the glory and the sunshine of what you do well. So that's, something to keep in mind. You said that you relieve them of that pressure because, when you focus on that one thing, you're allowed to truly enjoy that. Enjoy the growth, enjoy the experience, enjoy the success that you're having for your clients. So I think otherwise you can strip yourself of that joy.
Yes, absolutely.
What's the current... I was going to ask, what's the current landscape for you, Darnyelle, from because you said that millions is the new six figures, basically.
I like that.
From your perspective, I know I just so I rent an apartment in Towson, Maryland, and I know inflation's up 8%. They're talking about, oh yeah, we want to increase your rent 17%. No big deal. I'm like, excuse. So why from your perspective, what are you seeing on the ground, and just as an economy, as you're working with your clients, why is millions necessary now to achieve kind of the same level of economic kind of comfort or security that it may have been achieved by six figures just a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is what you just said, inflation. We should be raising our prices just like everyone else is raising their prices. Everybody increased their rates during the pandemic, but I know entrepreneurs who lowered theirs. Yeah, that's wrong. That was you went the wrong way, right? And I believe that regardless of what's going on in the global economy, as entrepreneurs and small business owners, we can create our own economy. The key is to solve a problem that others have been unsuccessful at solving on their own. Because every single one of us will pay our hard-earned money to get the solution to a problem or to get our time back. I am willing to pay somebody to wash my clothes because I don't want to sit in front of baskets of laundry and fold them on a Saturday.
I know that's right.
I will happily pay somebody to do that, right? I don't want to slave over the stove to make dinner for myself and my husband. So I will happily pay someone to make us meals so we can eat healthy and we can do other things that we enjoy doing. And so similarly, entrepreneurship or the ability to have a business that makes millions of dollars, it's not just for the things, right? Yeah, you're going to get the comforts right now. You're going to buy the car. You're going to live in the condo or build the house or whatever. And you're probably going to get the shoes and the belt. Okay, get those things. But there comes a point in time when you realize there's not you get all of the stuff and then what else, right? It's about your legacy. And legacy is financial. What are you leaving to your kids? The kids you don't even have yet, depending upon your age, right? What are you leaving to your community, to the causes that you support, the things that are important to you, right? I have an affinity to the children of incarcerated parents because my mom went to jail when I was young. So I want to spend not only my time in those organizations, but I want to send them my treasure too. I want to send them resource so that they can reach more kids. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I'm just making six figures. Because let's be real, I've done the statistics. If you make $120,000 a year, so I'm going to give you a little grace over the 100K mark, that by the time we take out the 15.3% of self-employment tax and your basic business expenses boils down to about $48,180. Now, because inflation has gone up by 8 to 20%, depending upon where you happen to live inside of the country, it's going to cost you more to live. So that $48,000 is really going to drill down to about $10,000 left over if you're lucky. What kind of legacy are you establishing? What kind of lifestyle are you living? I mean, we quit our good jobs, right? I quit my good job to come into entrepreneurship and not to do worse than I did without the responsibility. I mean, like when I worked for someone else, I went in at 8, I came home at 5. Like as an entrepreneur, there are days when I come in at 8 and I don't leave until 8 the next day. Okay, no, I don't ever work 24 hours. But my point is, we think we quit our jobs to work less. We actually quit our jobs to work more initially, right? And then eventually you build a team, because by the time you get to 7 figures, your job, if you desire to scale to 8, is to replace yourself. So from mid 6 to 7 figures, you're replacing yourself. You're hiring service providers that can work with your clients, right? You're investing in the things that give you your time back, because your ultimate goal, if you desire 7 figures, is actually to not be the main fixture in your company. I'm working myself out of a job. Slowly but surely, continually working to not be the one who is doing all the things. Right now, we have 8 full-time employees. I wouldn't be able to have the people who help me do the things that I do if I was just making $120,000 a year. Yeah, no. And let's not even talk about the lifestyle, right? Like, Bryant, I know you just went and spent, a month in Barbados? Like, we 4 times a year, we take luxury vacations. Every time I fly first class. Those are things that are important to me. They may not be important to you. I drive a $120,000 car. That's important to me. All I really wanted was a really nice car to drive and an amazing home to live in. I live in a 7,700 square foot home. And I'm sharing this with you to be an example, because I believe that God is no respecter of persons. And if he can make it happen for Darnyelle Antoinette, then I know he can make it happen for you. But it is only possible because I figured out how to streamline my business and to generate at a level that allows me to live that way without robbing Peter to pay Paul, without having to give up something that's important to the ability for my company to go to the next level in order for me to experience life. I'm more focused on the return on any investment than the cost of my inaction. And so I'm doing what's necessary to be able to do that. And above all, having millions, or at least $500,000, it gives you choices.
Yes,
you can decide. See, when you're only making 6 figures, the only decision is you got to work, and you got to be customer service and marketing and sales and customer retention and research and development and
PR.
all of that. Because you can't afford to pay nobody else. So you quit your good job where you only had one responsibility to take on a job, because that's what it is. You're not a CEO. You don't have your own business. You created your own job where you now have 10 jobs. I'm sorry, that's dumb. Why would anybody do that? We quit our good jobs to come out and experience the lifestyle that entrepreneur creates for us. I believe that there's a transfer of wealth underway, and I believe that entrepreneurship is the vehicle to access it. And the only way that's going to happen is if we get business acumen, right? And that's why I'm doing my event. That's why I teach and I coach and I show up and I do these interviews, because you're good at the thing that you do, but you're not good at business. And you think you're doing something by having $100,000 a year. No, you are not. If you can't at any point in time decide that you could do anything, and money, every day we make a decision about money. Money is the only constant. That's why the Bible talks about money 2,300 times more than it talks about heaven or hell. Because every day we have to make decisions about money. But when you're making low 6 figures, you can't make money decisions because you don't have money enough to decide to get yourself in a situation to experience the abundance that I believe you are entitled to if you happen to be on this planet.
What I want to hear Darnyelle, that was so good. What I want to hear is some of the success stories of how you changed some people's lives, because you have. I was listening to Oprah, one of her interviews, and one of the things that's really clear for her was that she is in alignment with everything that is about her purpose.
Yeah.
And it's not about Oprah, she got the things, but it's about how she impacts other people. So tell us a little bit about some of the people that you have impacted. And
Yeah.
Oh, actually, before she does, I can share one person in the comments now that is, and so he put up this. I know it's big, so sorry, it's gonna cover your face for a second, but this is Marquel, Darnyelle. It said, I know it didn't come up, but this is Marquel Braden. He said, coaching with Darnyelle shifted my business just by simply becoming more comfortable with charging based on the value. Hello, I knew I provided to my clients. I have no problems with sharing high ticket prices anymore.
Yay.
Yeah. Hey, Marquel.
Yes. Yay.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many. Like, if you go to our website, we have more than 300 client success stories on there, and they're all real. Every single one of them. But one of the things that I've been working on over the last year is a docuseries, which is also called Move to Millions. And in the docuseries, we featured 4 of our clients that we helped move to either their first or their next set of $1 million. And so I think about my client, Marissa Cupane. Shout out to Marissa. We've been working together for a very long time. And in the interview, that my video brand strategist, Jude Charles, shout out to Jude, he asked her a question. We were looking at her life, right? When I first started working with her, I want to say she was charging like maybe $25 an hour, right? I just know, like, last year she closed a $300,000 client. Just the other day, she posted in our client Facebook group that she closed a $163,000 client.
Oh my God,
and
that is awesome.
The way that their life has changed. And so Jude asked her, do you ever think about not making a decision to work with Darnyelle? And she tears up and she says, no, like, why would I think about that? I would never want to think about that. And then I think about Terdon DeBell, shout out to Terdon, who the first time I met her was in 2015, where she came to my event. I didn't know this at the time, but she took a bus to the event and didn't know where she was going to sleep. She knew that she needed to get in the space to learn. And based on what she learned at my live event, she got to 6 figures. Well, last year, Terdon made the move to millions. And just thinking about like that, or I think about my client, Althea, shout out to Althea Hurst, who, when I met her business, she's a real estate agent. She is working on getting her own brokerage. And she also now has her own team of agents who work with her.
Wow.
She was making maybe, $200,000 a year, $250,000 a year. Well, she made the move to millions last year and was able to take an entire month off, have her best quarter ever, and didn't miss a beat because she learned how to become a CEO and build out a team. And, and I could go on and on and on, because we've got stories for days of people. I think another person I want to shout out really quickly, that I've had the pleasure of working with, and I love to tell his story, because I love the legacy that he's establishing for his children, and that's Marquel Russell. He's amazing. You can go look him out. Shout out to Marquel. But what I love about our work, because when he came to work with me, he was already doing well. He was like, he was more than, I think he was doing like maybe $750,000, but he knew he should be making millions of dollars. And through helping him put one specific strategy in place, and then develop his team so that he could really become a CEO. Like, I can tell you, and this is not even a current number. This is in 2020. This number was $2 million we added to his business's bottom line. And I know it's much more than that, because what I taught him was how to use this one strategy to fish. He says in our docuseries, he says, what I've learned from Darnyelle will make me money for the next 50 years. But the most important part for me about Marquel, he's got 3 boys that are under the age of 10. And their life is going to be so different because of the decisions that their father made, and how he has become, he has access to millions, and he's teaching them entrepreneurship, and he's taking them around the world so that they don't just get to experience what's happening in Atlanta, Georgia. And he's establishing trusts and legacy for his family. Like, that for me is what it's all about. It's not about my car or my house or even my millions. It's the fact that I'm not the only one. And I know that there are people out there who they've gotten themselves to millions, but they ain't helped nobody else get it. Yeah, no, I'm not her. Like, I think, and I want my clients to do better than me. It's like in the Bible, Jesus says, greater works will you do. I want my clients to do more millions than I've done. And that's why I teach and I create this environment for people, because I think that money it's just an energy. It takes on whatever meaning we give it. But most of us have been taught to give it a meaning that is not serving us. And that is why we don't have enough of it. And I think that we need to have more, not just for the material things, but in order to be the impact, in order to shake the planet. That only comes, in my opinion, through entrepreneurship. Because if you go and you work in corporate America or private sector, you're only going to make what they deem your position to be worth. Your bonus is only going to be the equivalent to what they deem your work, your performance to be worth. But when you're an entrepreneur, there is no limit except for the one that you set for yourself. You can decide that you want to make $1 million in 1 year and actually accomplish that thing, which is just amazing to me.
So is this your first Move to Millions event?
This is the very first Move to Millions event. We rebranded last year. And as a big part of our rebrand, we've gone all in on helping six-figure entrepreneurs make the move to millions.
Yeah, I would love for you to just share a little bit about it before we get into Speakers Magazine, because obviously this is coming up May 25th through 27th. Yeah, I know you know, and I know it's kind of crazy because I feel like the pandemic has kind of like everything. I'm like, it's really May 2022, but I'm super excited about this. So can you just share, like, kind of walk folks through, like, who should be in the room at this event? When is it? And all the deets that we can.
Absolutely. So like the website says, it is the must attend event of the year for millions-minded entrepreneurs. So if you want to make millions and you're not afraid of it and you're unapologetic about it, this event is for you. Now, inside of that, what we're going to be teaching, it's 3 days. Day one is all about the principles. So we're going to get into the mindset, because until you work on the 6 inches in between your ears, you will not feel 7 figures between your fingers. So we've got to go through the mindsets and the principles that you need to erect and have in place. Principles like alignment. Pam talked about that, right? Being in alignment is the key to flow. And when you're in alignment, then things will flow to you consistently, right? So that's what happens on day one. All of the mindsets, all of the principles that need to happen. On day two, we're going to get into the marketing and sales strategy. We're going to share marketing trends for 2022 and beyond. I'm going to talk about $1 million sales psychology. We're going to talk about positioning and pricing, and that one thing you need to be focused on to get to the $1 million mark. And then on day 3, it's all about the legacy. So we're going to talk about the legacy blueprint and what will it really take for you to get your business to the $1 million mark. The one thing I didn't share that I'm remiss, and so I'm going to share it now, is when I first crossed the $1 million mark in 2014, it wasn't amazing because I didn't know what I didn't know, and I paid $400,000 in taxes. I don't want anyone else to experience that. So I have a whole session where I'm going to talk to you about what you need to have set up in your business before you decide to make the move, so that when you make the move and come out on the other side, it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel empty. Yeah, let's say that. Right? I don't want that to be your story because it was mine and that was enough. So May 25th through the 27th, Wilmington, Delaware, just outside of Philadelphia, 30 minutes from the Philadelphia airport. If you're in the DMV, you're about an hour and a half to 2 hours away, depending upon where you're coming from. New York, New Jersey, less than 2 hours. Pennsylvania, 30 minutes. Like, so if you're in this quarter, but if you want to get on a plane, like we just had someone register that's coming from Nairobi, Kenya.
Wow.
On a plane, most places it's a couple of hours, right? But the thing is, what's going to happen at this event is not just the content that we're going to teach, but the community that you're going to be in, because there will be $1 million CEOs in the room, like actual real life people, not people who are putting that in their title, but haven't even made it, or not even people who are making it cumulative over multiple years. I'm talking about people who made $1 million in one calendar year inside of their business. And there will be millionaires in the room, because we're also going to talk about asset development and how to get your business to the point where every single asset you have in your business produces $1 million, so that now you become a millionaire, because that is different than being $1 million CEO. If you make $1 million a year in your business, but the cost to run your business is $300,000, the most you have left over is $700,000, right? That's not $1 million. You're not a millionaire. You have to have $1 million or more in assets to be considered a millionaire. Well, we're going to talk about some of the assets that you have in your business right now that'll make the difference. I believe that every single one of you who are listening has a $1 million business right now. It's just not packaged and positioned or priced right. So if you come and spend 3 days with me and my team, we will get you packaged, positioned, and priced right, so that you can put yourself in a position to actually make the move to millions.
There are other speakers too, Darnyelle?
There are other speakers. So we do Millions Talks, which are our equivalent of a TEDx talk. So we'll be featuring members from our community who made the move to millions over the course of the year. We are also going to have Lucinda Cross. She's going to be speaking to our VIPs on our VIP day. She'll be teaching how to get big brands to write you big checks, which is really, really powerful. As well, we've got Kelly Fidel, who is one of the only women who has closed $1 billion in sales inside of her career, who will be participating with us. It's going to be bananas. The most important thing, though, that I always like to share is I'm not about parading speakers in front of you so that you have a disjointed experience. You're going to learn the framework. So you're going to have a complete experience, and our speakers supplement what I'm going to teach you from our framework from the main stage.
There were two things that when we spoke, I think I had to ask a question where there were going to be breakout rooms, and you said you weren't sure because there was so much going on. You wanted everyone to have the same experience.
Oh yeah, we don't do breakout rooms. We want everybody to hear everything.
Right. And the second thing that I really appreciate too is, and you spoke about this, was the mindset. You said even if you're not at that mark yet, to be in that space, that will prepare you, but you didn't want to exclude anyone. That's why it's important. You said $1 million mindset, because it's all about that mindset. So those are the things that don't ward a person off because you're not making 6 figures or $1 million yet, but come in there with the proper mindset.
Absolutely. And none of us started like this, right? We have people in the room. Like the biggest thing that I would tell you, our theme is prepare for rain. And it's about preparing. So if you have millions on your mind, even if you are just starting a business, technically this is one of the ways that I can serve you, because in our programs, we only work with you if you're already at 6 figures. But I can teach you, if you're just about to start a business, what you need to be thinking about now so that you get there way faster than you would if you don't come. And so that's the reason why we don't exclude from the live event experience, right? If you have millions on your mind at whatever the time frame is that you have them there, I want you to learn what it's going to take so you can validate that you really do want to make millions, because it will take work, and that you're willing to show up and do the things necessary to prepare your business to support you that way.
Nice. Well, I just want to drop the link one more time. I know it's going to cover your space for a second, Darnyelle, but I just want to make sure folks have it. So it's Move to Millions event. That's millions with an S. Move to Millions event.com, May 25th through 27th, Delaware. And first of all, I think you made a point about, just being in community and being around like other folks. Like it's very, I think that's part of the challenge with entrepreneurship in general. Like it's a very like silo-y type of experience. Most people don't have other family members that or people they went to school with, or just people in their general community that they can reach out to and be like, hey, how'd you deal with that tax issue? Like, hey, how'd you overcome confidence? Like, so I love the fact that you're doing this, and that you're not only just sharing from your well, but you're bringing so many expert thought leaders from their own individual lane of expertise to share. So I'm super excited about that. So again, that's Move to Millions event.com. We're added to the comments and all the chats where we're streaming as well, so that you all can grab your ticket. But as we transition, Speakers Magazine, look at this cover, Sierra. Like, come on now, Darnyelle. I mean, listen, this is first of all, it's on brand.
I was going to say, definitely on brand. Her colors are there. You can see it in her room in the back too. Definitely.
Yes, love it.
Turned
Love
out
it.
really great, Pam. So May 2022 is here. So you want to chat about this?
Yeah, the purple is her color. I think at the beginning that video is the Move to Millions commercial from I think that's what that is.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, that was her TED Talk.
Oh yeah, that's
your TED Talk from a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was 2017, I think.
Love it. On brand again, of course. She has on their purple, right?
Right.
Yeah, purple is a must.
Yeah, I think this turned out really, really well, though. I think, and there's a tidbit in here. You have your MBA, but you have a really good perspective on, that MBA. I really enjoyed reading this article because I think a lot of people think, an MBA is this like path to like entrepreneurship success, and it's like, well, I don't know.
Not necessarily. Well, I think now they do have MBAs with concentrations in entrepreneurship. But I got my MBA in 2003. And so my emphasis is in marketing, which it was really structured to help me to continue to climb the career ladder in corporate America, as opposed to how we market today, right? Like there is no digital marketing in my marketing courses that we taught, because even in 2003, I mean, the internet was still relatively new, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a part of the curriculum. It was a great foundation for understanding economics and business in general, which is a skill set that a lot of entrepreneurs lack. Like they're heart-centered, right? They know how to do their thing. They're great at that, but they don't understand the business stuff. And so being able to not only get that MBA, but to be a vice president, running my own department in corporate America, being responsible for budgets and knowing about KPIs and all of that stuff, I was able to easily transfer that into the work that I do with my clients today, so that I can truly help them become CEOs. Because, most people that might be what your business card says, but you're really not a CEO, because you can't CEO if there's nothing to EO. And so if you're the only one in your business, yeah, it sounds cute, but it's not legit what it is. And so being able to learn all of that stuff, I got a foundation for it in my MBA, but I had to even figure out how to take it to the next level as an entrepreneur.
That makes sense to me. I think now, Pam, I know you have a printed issue copy there. And for those that are trying to figure out how to get their like digital hands on it, you can get a copy at speakersmagazine.net. The online issue is up.
Or .com. We have both.
Nice.
We do both now. we'll buy them all. We're actually going to have speakersmagazine.tv too. So yeah, so it's a Speakers Magazine podcast.
Only one you can't get is .gov, right? That's the only
right.
one.
No, you can't get .gov.
And you don't really want that one anyway.
Right. No. So one of the things here is that I love media. So Dr. Darnyelle is in blacknews.com. If you put in blacknews.com right now, you'll see Dr. Darnyelle Jervey Harmon. Correct name, Darnyelle.
Okay.
So we'll between us that she is there. And then also to talking about mission and all of that. I love branding. I love PR. I can talk about it all day. Publicity, positioning, publishing, partnering, and platform building. That's the thing. That's why this magazine is around. That's why I partnered with blacknews.com, partnered with Black Speakers Network. Black Be Black is one of the main targets for me. It's a mission of mine, has been for a while, child of the 60s, and definitely on the fringe of civil rights. So unapologetically Black, but really positioning authors and speakers to be seen, heard, and paid by really shining their light and sharing their message. So that's really like the whole why of Speakers Magazine. Just wanted to make that clear. My name happens to have a lot of P's in it. So for whatever reason, there's a lot of alliteration with Pam Perry.
I never noticed that. Yeah. I never noticed that. That's great.
Yes. Publisher, publicist, podcast, all that kind of stuff. We're launching, and Darnyelle is one of the first guests as well, Speakers Magazine podcast. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough was the first. She will be the second, but it's really going to be a part of our whole network. And this really kind of like explains that we're doing a television network as well and all that kind of stuff. The other lady there, Mary Parker's from Atlanta. Sierra knows Mary Parker as well. She is a phenomenal multimillionaire as well. Doing the thing in Atlanta. She is a head of a security company, one of the largest ones in the state of Georgia, but definitely one of the largest in the country as well. Happens to be run by a Black woman. She's actually from Michigan, but she moved down to Atlanta. Does the security for the Atlanta airport. That's just one of her clients. Okay. Mary is beautiful. Actually, she is a minister as well. So I find that a lot of millionaires, because John Barfield was one of my clients as well, they have a very strong connection with God and knowing their purpose and knowing their why. She's a minister as well, very spiritual. And when you hear her talk, you'll just know why her life is so blessed, because she's just she's a walking blessing. You know,
first of all, Mary looks extremely rich. Like, she's wearing gold. Like, like she got like, you know, the whitest smile. Like, she looks super.
Before we go on too, I just want to add one thing, and this not only applies to Mary, but I think as we talk about millionaires, they also have a sense of community. Mm-hmm. So just like we heard Dr. Darnyelle talk about how she wants her clients to do better than her. She's talking about legacy. Mary talks about the same thing. She just recently purchased a huge building on the southwest side of Atlanta to serve that current community. And then you mentioned Dr. Kimbrough. He again is about community. So that's one of the things of these true millionaires, you know, that are actually that they have a sense of community and pouring back and helping others reach their goals and visions too.
Yeah, that is really, really key. Sharifa Hardy, she is blackguest.com. She is actually looking for, you guessed it, Black guests to be on her platform as well. So she is a speaker as well. She's actually running for Congress in the state of California, where she is. And so that's one of the ones I want people to watch her video and really get connected to her, blackguest.com. Kind of like a Haro, I guess you would say, but a little bit more focused and targeted. Dr. Renee Hornbuckle, she's out of Texas. She is definitely an empowerment speaker. She's a minister as well, but a beautiful soul, beautiful person, and really doing some things that are really helping women. She's a domestic violence survivor, and she wrote a book about it. And so anyway, you got to read her story. Phenomenal lady.
Oh,
there
snap.
is the cover story.
Look at the spread.
Love that. I love that. That is the t-shirt she has on now, right? Move to Millions. So she's rebranding. That's that thing. And then it looks like she's standing on the side of the bank. So that was like one of the ones I said, "Ooh, I like that one."
That is the new we were in New York for that photo shoot, and that is, oh gosh, I can't think of the name of the building now.
It looked like a bank.
It was the what was the building that got crashed into?
Twin Towers. World Trade Center.
That's the new World Trade Center. That's where we are.
Okay. That's why it has that look to it. I was like, "Ooh, this is perfect. This is perfect." But yeah, the pull quotes and everything are in there. Sierra did an excellent job with this story. The parts of this is on blacknews.com, so people will know a little bit of teaser about this, about you on there. And actually, Black News goes, they have like it. Definitely talking about Move to Millions. They have millions of viewers every single month on their site. So we moved to millions. So that was for sure. They had to be there.
I love starting this particular story out with never judge a book by its cover, because in conversation with her, that was one of the things that she quickly uncovered. She said, I've never, I haven't always been this way. And she talked about her experience. She's covered it all, but that experience about being business savvy, she didn't have that. She talked about her MBA and what it did not teach her, and how she had to kind of start over, and selling to Mary Kay. So I thought that was appropriate. Never judge a book by its cover, because it's so true. Where she is now is not where she started from. And I just tell you personally, I think that gives all of us hope and belief. As you mentioned, you said you believe that, and because you believe it, you help us to believe that too.
Absolutely.
Facts. Great cover story. I'm so happy that we have this here. And the great thing about Speakers Magazine, I know we're talking about access to the things that you do, Pam, which is providing visibility, publicity, PR. When you get featured, this lives online forever, essentially, unless we pull it down. So like
No.
the value of this, I think sometimes people are like, well, why would I want to be in a magazine? Like Speakers Magazine, the reason why it's such a valuable partnership with Black Speakers Network specifically is that everybody's trying to secure visibility. Now, if you don't have anything that translates that visibility into actual dollars, that's why you gotta talk to Darnyelle. But like, you don't want to be visible for no reason. But
Right,
you get visible. Now, this is good. Obviously, Darnyelle, you just mentioned like in traditional marketing classes, digital marketing was kind of like breezed over. Yet, generally speaking, like if you don't have an online presence, if we can't find you, it's kind of like, well, what are you actually doing? And so I really, really love the fact that Pam, you and your team do such a great job. These articles here, I have no idea how you do it every single month with fitting all this information into one concise, readable, and useful piece. But this is outstanding. And then it's integrated with videos that are YouTube, which is the second largest search engine. And so now you got multiple pieces of collateral that's helping to elevate your brand. So I think this is great.
And then Darnyelle will be giving these out at the actual event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she'll have of these. Everybody will be part of their swag bag. I guess you'll have a swag bag of a lot of different stuff, but this will be in there as well, so that you'll give that out as well. This is Dr. Cheryl Bryant Brew. She comes on our clubhouse every.
I've seen her.
Yeah, you see her, and she is a celebrity doc. Her speaker reel is there as well. One of the things that we're working with her a little bit more, her brand, doctors are medical. So we're working with her on a brand. So she's one of the new people in the branding accelerator. Really excited about working with her and helping her brand come up. Talk about social media. Pardon me?
If I was a speaker, I was going to say, if I was a doctor, I would absolutely have like some sort of YouTube channel. Like I would be doing something online. Like I follow her. I follow this other guy named like Dr. Mike. And they're always sharing like these really, really like interesting like takes. And there's no shortage of content when you've already like established that credibility and you're able to talk about a topic that like everybody needs to know about healthcare in some capacity. You can just kind of pick your niche. So I think that's
especially
really
with the pandemic. I mean, people were listening to the medical community more than anything,
right?
Because of all of that. This right here is a story written by Chris Wood. She is a regular writer. She writes on things that I think will help speakers in terms of their marketing. So this month, she's talking about social media graphics that make you shine, because a lot of times people struggle with that, about doing their social media. So that was an article there. So we really try to put something in there, feature speakers, but also feed them with some information as well. Charvette is another one that is quote unquote feeding. She's a branding expert as well. Top 3 must-haves for your personal brand as a speaker. Love Charvette. And then Dr. Missy Johnson, who is a screenwriter. She was a cover a few years ago, and that wasn't part of her title. So I said, hey, we need to really re-feature you now because you're a screenwriter now. And she's been
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's been in BET, Her, and things like that. So she's doing really good. And then Chris Hampton, he is a person that spoke, I think, with Sean Fair's event. I like how he really talks about his initials, champion, and that sort of thing. So it kind of gives that, I think his brand is I Am Champ or something like that. So that kind of works out.
Champion.
Yeah, champion.
Champ I am. Champ I am.
Champ I am. That's it. Champ I am. Yeah, so it kind of goes good with his brand. And I saw him speak at Sean's affair, and I think his video was there. Is his video not there?
I don't see it, but
it didn't say. Yeah, I thought it was there. Yeah, so he spoke at Sean's event. And then the spotlight is really for more speakers to get more eyes and ears. Like really, that's the whole point of why I do what I do. So they get more eyes and ears so they can step into the spotlight. And that's really, really important. And people can contact us. And something new, if you are a speaker and an author, is Amazon Live. So that's kind of like QVC for books, that I have a show there. And so speakers can get on there as well to move their books, as well. So
and with Amazon Live, and let me throw up the link just in case people want to be featured in Speakers Magazine, because I know that's the number one question. So speakersmagazine.net, same website, or .com /advertorial is where you get all the information, pricing, how do you get on, what do you need to submit, everything. Pam and her team has done an incredible job of just kind of streamlining it. But going back to the spotlight promotion, the Amazon Live, that is something brand new.
Yes, that's brand new. I became an influencer, I think a couple of months ago, doing the Amazon Live.
Got it. That's awesome. I know I've seen Amazon Live. I think it's Amazon. Yeah, I seen Kurt Nugent, I think, did like a tech corner where he's always talking about like, here's my camera equipment, but you can live link specifically to products and get affiliate commission, I believe, off of each of those sales. So that's a really lucrative channel that is seems to be working really well.
And then always, just like Darnyelle, she has been, she was the back cover of the month before. I think the back cover of...
Yeah, she was last month. Yep.
Yeah. And so this month is the back cover of Alicia Houston, which will be the cover in June. So it's always that kind of thing. And she has an event coming up. So it's always that kind of a synergy where Darnyelle was in issues previously, kind of like showcasing her about the event, and then she's a cover, then this person is showcasing her event, then she'll be the cover. So that's always like been the pattern for the last 5 years or so. That's why it's always better when someone who does a cover, that they are launching a book or launching a movement or an event. That's really, really the main thing, that they're launching something. That's why we put all the promotion behind it, because they want people to go to Move to Millions event, right? So she was seated in, I think the first one was, you did the 3 events. It was DC. Tell us a little bit about
the tour.
Yeah,
we did a tour.
Yeah. So as you heard Bryant say, I mean, I've been doing tours for a long time. So I like to go like where we have the majority of our community, right? So we have a lot of people here. I'm in Delaware, so we have a lot of people in the DMV region, a lot of people in Atlanta, and then sometimes we do always one here in Delaware. So at minimum we do Delaware, DC, Atlanta, but several years we did 5. So we've done Detroit, we've done Chicago, we've done Dallas, we've done Orlando, we've done California. Like, so we just kind of go where we have people to give them an opportunity to experience me, face to face, and to get the content, and then to make a decision to join us for the live event. So that's always been a big part of our business model. The tour precedes the event, and we're getting people to make a decision to come and join us for 3 days, where we're going to be teaching them our framework and methodology. And then they'll have the opportunity, after that, to decide if they want to come into one of our programs.
I love that. That is such a cool business model. You see how she just perfected that? Yeah. She just perfected that. It's just like,
and I'm so sorry I missed her. I wasn't, I didn't know you had come here in Atlanta, but when I went back and start looking, I was like, man, she was here in Atlanta.
So we had a great turnout.
I bet.
In Atlanta. We did it at an AMC theater. Because we showed the preview for my docuseries. We showed the I
think you were down the street from me. Madison Yards. Were you at
Madison? We were at Madison Yards.
I'm down the street from there. Well, I tell you, you come here again, I won't miss you, but I definitely am planning on to attend your next your event there. So I appreciate you.
Can people still watch the docuseries?
Well, we haven't released the full docuseries, but the preview is available. It's on my YouTube channel.
Perfect.
It's really, really powerful. It's about 14 minutes, and it's extremely powerful. For those of you who are coming to the event in 2 weeks, we are kicking off the event with that video, because it's the best way to introduce me without making it about me. And that's kind of where I am at this point in time, right? Once you've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt, it's not about you anymore. It's about helping other people to get to the same place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, this has been a great interview. I am so excited. Thank you so much for sharing. I want to turn it off, kick it around everybody for a quick, last thought, and then we will be done. Darnyelle, I just want to personally say it's been so valuable. I mean, you've spoken several times for Black Speakers Network community. You've been personally, when I think about people who are like influentially the people that I look up to that are like, hey, this is a different lifestyle is possible. You are like super high on that list because again, I wasn't born into a situation where, like I wasn't born into a situation where it was like, oh yeah, we got, chefs and people making the food like, boy,
Right.
if you don't get in that kitchen and look this up,
Figure out something to eat.
Right.
So thank you. I just want to say thank you on behalf of Black Speakers Network for everything that you do and continuing to create, opportunity for our community. But Pam, Sierra, I kick it to you for any last thought, and then we'll close out.
The thing that always stands out for me, I'll let you bring it home, Pam, is the importance of community. The importance of Black Speakers Network, importance of Pam's programs, Ready, Set, Go, Speak, importance of Speakers Magazine, because you get a chance to really meet people who can really positively impact your life. That's what both of these organizations about. And that's why I'm glad to be part of this inner circle and to be able to tell these stories, because it makes a difference. Like Brian said, we didn't have these growing up, but we have them now. So it can really help us continue to grow and continue to make our dreams come true. And like I said this from the very beginning, when I spoke with Pam, Dr. Darnyelle Harmon is the real deal. We come across a lot of people, but I tell you, she imbues you with inspiration and confidence that you too can have exactly what it is that you want to have, and that is to move into millions. So I thank you both, Dr. Pam and Dr. Darnyelle.
Thank you. Thank you, Sia. Thank you for writing such a fabulous cover. She's in blacknews.com and more things, but more importantly, you will be seeing some behind the scenes social media from the event as well. Not done with Speakers Magazine. The month of May, you will be seeing me at the event doing social media and interviews and things on the ground for Dr. Darnyelle. That's part of what we want to do, is just to shine a light on the wonderful work that she's doing. So if you haven't gotten your ticket, what you waiting for? Those that show up, go up. That's what I always say. So if you want to go up, you got to just show up. So move to millionsevent.com. Go there and get there. That's all I got to say.
All right. Well, we are done. Thank you again. And as we say in BSN, keep speaking up because your audience awaits. See you next time.
Okay.